The first time the phone rang, I was already awake. It was 1:47 in the morning. I remember that because the number sat there on the screen for a moment before the call came in. I was lying in the dark, half asleep, staring at the ceiling. Then the phone lit up. Unknown number. I almost ignored it, but something about the timing felt deliberate. So I answered. There was a short pause on the line. No static, no background noise. Just a quiet presence. Then a voice asked one question. Are you still alive? The voice sounded calm, not rushed, not emotional, just curious. Before I could respond, the call ended. I stared at the phone for a while after that, waiting for it to ring again. It didn't. Eventually, I told myself it was a wrong number or someone messing around. I went back to sleep. The next night, it happened again. 1:47 a.m. The exact same unknown number. This time I answered faster. Same pause, same quiet voice. Are you still alive? I said yes. I asked who it was. The line disconnected. The third night was when it started to feel wrong. The call came at exactly the same time, 1:47, not a minute earlier, not a minute later. I answered. The voice asked the same question. Are you still alive? I tried interrupting. I asked what they wanted. Nothing. The moment the question was asked, the call ended. After that, I blocked the number. At least I thought I did. The following night, my phone still rang. 1:47 a.m. Unknown number again. Not the same one I had blocked, just blank. I let it ring for a while before answering. Same pause, same voice. Are you still alive? I hung up that time. The next night, I decided to let it go to voicemail. The phone rang beside my bed. 1:47. I watched the screen until the call stopped. A minute later, a voicemail notification appeared. The message was 11 seconds long. I played it. At first, there was nothing, just silence. Then I noticed breathing. Slow, steady. Someone was still on the line. A few seconds passed like that. Then the same voice whispered very quietly, Are you still alive? The message ended. I didn't sleep much after that. Over the next week, the calls kept coming. Always the same time, 1:47. Always the same question. It didn't matter if I answered. It didn't matter if I ignored it. The phone always rang. Eventually, curiosity started to replace the fear. One night when the call came, I waited until the voice finished asking the question. Then I spoke before the line could drop. Why do you keep asking me that? For the first time, the voice didn't disconnect. The line stayed open. There was a long silence, long enough that I thought the call had frozen. Then the voice spoke again, quiet, almost thoughtful. Because yesterday, you weren't. The call ended. I sat there for a long time with the phone in my hand. The sentence kept repeating in my head. Yesterday, you weren't. The next morning, I checked my call history. At first, I was just trying to see how many times the number had called, but something else caught my attention. The dates. The calls in my log went back farther than I remembered, 3 days farther. According to the phone, the unknown number had started calling earlier that week, 3 nights before the first call I remembered answering. Each one at 1:47 a.m., each one lasting only a few seconds. I stared at the screen for a while trying to make sense of that. I didn't remember those calls, not even a little. Still, the timestamps were there, night after night, 1:47. After that, I started waking up before the call arrived, every night, around 1:40. I'd lie in the dark and watch the clock slowly change, 1:44, 1:45, 1:46, and then the phone would ring, right on time. The routine started to feel strange in a different way, like the call wasn't interrupting my night anymore. It was part of it. Then one night something changed. The phone rang like usual, 1:47, unknown number. I answered. The voice asked the same question. Are you still alive? I said yes. There was a sound on the other end, a slow exhale, like someone had been holding their breath. Then the voice said something new,
Good. The word hung there for a moment. Then the voice continued. That means it hasn't happened yet. My chest tightened a little. I asked what hadn't. No answer, just silence. I asked again, what hasn't? For a few seconds I thought the call would end like always, but the voice stayed, calm, unhurried. Then finally it replied, the thing that killed you. The call ended. I sat there staring at the dark room around me. The silence felt heavier than usual. I kept expecting the phone to ring again, but it didn't. Morning eventually came. I tried to move on with the day, but the sentence followed me everywhere. The thing that killed you. The next night I stayed awake again, watching the clock, waiting. 1:47. The phone rang. I looked at the screen. For a moment I didn't understand what I was seeing. Then I felt something cold settle in my stomach. Because this time the caller ID wasn't blank. It wasn't unknown. The number on the screen was my own phone. My own phone number kept ringing in my hand. I didn't answer right away. I just watched the screen glow in the dark. After a while, I finally picked up, and before I could say anything, the voice asked quietly, "Are you still alive?"